Good morning, everyone. Today is Act chapter 25. Now, when Festus had come to the province after 3 days, he went up to Caesarea, to Jerusalem. Then the high priest and the chief men of the Jews informed him against Paul, and they petitioned him, asking a favor against him, that he would summon him to Jerusalem while they lay in ambush along the road to kill him. But Festus answered that Paul should be kept at Caesarea, and that he himself was going there shortly. Therefore, he said, "Let those who have authority among you go down with me and accuse this man, to see if there is any fault in him." And when he had remained among them more than 10 days, he went down to Caesarea, and the next day, sitting on the judgment seat, he commanded Paul to be brought. When he had come, the Jews who had come down from Jerusalem stood about and laid many serious complaints against Paul, which they could not prove, while he answered for himself, neither against that the law of the Jews, nor against the temple, nor against Caesar have I offered in anything at all. But Festus, wanting to do the Jews' favor, answered Paul and said, "Are you willing to go up to Jerusalem and there be judgment judged before me concerning these things?" So Paul said, "I stand as Caesar's judge said, where I ought to be judged. To the Jews I have done no wrong, as you very well know. For if I am an offered offender, or I have committed anything deserving of death, I do not object to dying. But if there is nothing in these things of which these men accuse me, no one can deliver me to them. I appeal to Caesar." Then Festus, when he had conferred with the council, answered, "You have appealed to Caesar? To Caesar you shall go." And after some days, King Agrippa and Bernice came to Caesarea to great Festus. When they had been then there many days, Festus laid Paul's case before the king, saying, "There is a certain man left a prison by Felix, about whom the chief priest and the elders of the Jews informed me when I was in Jerusalem, asking for a judgment against him. To them I answered, it is not the custom of the Romans to deliver any man to destruction before the accused meet the accuser face to face and has opportunity to answer for himself concerning the charge against him. Therefore, when they had come together without any delay, the next day I sat on the judgment seat and commanded the man to be brought in. When the accusers stood up, they brought no accusation against him of such things as I supposed, but has some but questions against him about their own religion and about a certain Jesus who had died, whom Paul affirmed to be alive. And because I was uncertain of such questions, I asked whether he was willing to go to Jerusalem and there be judged concerning these matters. But when Paul appealed to be reserved for the decision of Augustus, I commanded him to be kept till I could send him to Caesar. Then Agrippa said to Vitus, I also would like to hear the man myself. Tomorrow, he said, you shall hear him. So the next day, when Agrippa and Bernice had come with great pomp and had entered the auditorium with the commanders and the prominent men of the city, at Festus' command, Paul was brought in. And Festus said, King Agrippa, and all the men who are here present with us, you see this man about whom the whole assembly of the Jews petitioned me, both at Jerusalem and here, crying out that he was not fit to live any longer. But when I found that he had to leave, had committed nothing deserving of death, and that he himself had appealed to Augustus, I decided to send him. I have nothing certain to write to my lord concerning him. Therefore, I have brought him out before you, and especially before you, King Agrippa, so that after the examination has taken place, I may have something to write. For it seems to me unreasonable to send a prisoner and not to specify the charges against him. So, in this chapter, Paul finds himself in a frustrating and potentially terrifying limbo. Felix had kept him in prison for years, right? About looking for a bribe, but go- now the governor changed. The fetus was being, pressured by the religious leaders to send Paul back to Jerusalem. Like they are straight to ambush and assassinate Paul. I believe Paul knew this, and he could say this is unfair, and something goes wrong with him. But maybe most people would be filled with anxiety or worry about this situation. Paul knew he was being used as a political pawn, and he knew his life was being betrayed for favors and money because Jewish leaders they wanted him. And as a new governor from Romans, he could use Paul as a good trading card. Yet Paul remained calm. He didn't panic because his security wasn't in the Romans because his security wasn't in Romans legal system. It was he believed it was in his sovereign hand of God. So when we know that God has already declared our destination, like to Paul is okay, you will be there in Rome. So the delays and detour of man cannot shake our peace. It shouldn't shake our peace, right? The Jews leaders brought many and serious charge against Paul, but they could prove absolutely nothing. So no matter how hard the world looked for a crack in his character, they found only integrity and the purity, right? Same as this is the standard for our faith today too. The world may hate us, but let it never be because we are dishonest or immoral. Let our lives be so transparent and upright that the only fault the world can find is our devotion to Christ, like Paul, like Daniel. Amen. So I hope you enjoyed this meditation. Have a wonderful day and may God bless you all.